Unit 6, Part 1, Rotation Angles. Well, we're getting into a brand new unit where we're going to deal with moving along a coordinate plane in an angular direction. So when we start, we always start with positive x being our initial side. That's where we start. This is where we start. And if you're going counterclockwise, that's positive degrees. And if you're going clockwise, that is negative degrees. So where we start is the initial side. Where we stop is the terminal side. Um, so we talked about positive angles, negative angles. Coterminal angles are just ones that stop end at the same point. So this where this terminal one, this angle right here is the same as this angle right here. Those are coterminal. Or going around the circle a whole nother time. Like if we went to 45 degrees right there, and then we went 360 plus 45 degrees. If we went all the way around again, that's another, those are coterminal when two angles line up on top of each other. And then reference angles, which will always be positive, are always going back down to the x-axis. What is like if we're in the second quadrant, this would be the angle, here's the reference angle. If you're in the third quadrant, down here, here's your reference angle. And reference angles are always positive. Now, let me show you what I mean. Let's practice some of these. So let's move on to number 1, A, B, and C. So number 1 says, draw and label the terminal side of these rotation angles, then tell which quadrant or axis they might be in or on. And then we're going to identify what the reference angle is. So on number 1, if I go a negative 75 degrees, that means I'm going to go clockwise, and I'm going to go 75 degrees that way. So we are in quadrant 4. So IV is Roman numeral 4. The reference angle is, what is this angle right here? Well, that angle right there is 75 degrees. Reference angles are always positive. Well, for B, we're going to go 195 degrees. Well, there's 180. And if we go that much more, there's 195 degrees. We went 15 degrees more. So our reference angle is 15 degrees because it gets us back to the x-axis. Never the y-axis, always back to the x-axis. And we are in quadrant 3 for that one. Well, letter 1C is negative 210 degrees. Well, this is negative 180 degrees. If we go all the way 90 degrees more, that's negative 270. So it's somewhere up here in this quadrant. So we're in the second quadrant. And we want that reference angle is whatever 210 minus 180 is. And I can't do that in my head very well. So I'm going to say 210 minus 180, which is 11 minus 8. It's 30 degrees. So this angle right here is a 30-degree reference angle. Okay. We're going to practice those 3 more times. Negative 240 degrees for 1D. So negative 180, negative 270. So we're somewhere in here in the second quadrant again. And we have to take and subtract whatever 240 minus 180 is, which should be 60 degrees. So the reference angle, this angle right here, is 60 degrees. And then let's see, what else? I'm just double checking I didn't make any mistakes. Okay, I like the answer so far. 630 degrees. Well, if we go 630 degrees, well, positive angles go counterclockwise. So there's 360. If we go all the way around again, we're at 720. So it's got to be, so 360 plus 90 is 450. 450 plus 90 is 540. 540 plus 90 is I can't do these in my head. 540 plus 90 is 630. Oh, there's our angle. It's right here on the y-axis. So it's on the reference angle is how far back to the x-axis, which is 90 degrees. It doesn't matter whether you go which direction, either one of those is 90 degrees. We are not in a quadrant. We are on the negative y-axis. Negative y-axis for that one. Okay. Negative 870. Well, let's find out where that's equivalent to. So if I take negative 870 and add 360 to it, you get negative 510. If you add 360 to that, negative 510 plus 360 is negative 150. That one I can spot. So I know Negative angles go clockwise. 180 is all the way across, so it's 150 is less than 180. And so the rest of the way, the reference angle is 30. And we are in the third quadrant. Okay. Let's look at number 2. So I'm going to move this up a little so reach so far. Number 2 says find the measure. We're dealing with negative 300 between negative 360 and positive 360, and we want an angle that has the given characteristics. And for number 2a, it says an angle that's in quadrant that terminates in quadrant 3. So it ends in quadrant 3. So here's my reference, which got a 71-degree reference angle. So we need a positive angle, so we have to go counterclockwise. Counterclockwise is this direction. So we went 180 and then 71 more. So this, our reference angle, our angle is 180 plus 71, which is 251 degrees. Now, let's look at 2b, a negative angle in quadrant 3. So we're going to go quadrant 3, and negative angle would be this one. Well, the reference angle is 17. So if we look at this was a negative 180, but it's 17 less than that. So we want to take 180 minus 17, but don't forget it's going to be a negative angle. So that's negative 180 minus 17 is 163, so negative 163 degrees. 2c is a positive angle in quadrant 2. So let's draw an angle in quadrant 2, and it has a 24-degree reference angle. And so positive is counterclockwise, so we want this angle right here. So that looks like it's not all the way to 180. It's 24 less than 180. So we have to take 180 minus 24. And 180 minus 24 is 156. And for the last one on this page, this side, a positive angle in quadrant 1. So we're going to go to quadrant 1 with a 24-degree reference angle. Well, positive is counterclockwise, so that is our angle, 24 degrees. We don't have to change anything for that one. And we are through with the front side. Well, for number 3a, we're now going to be talking in terms of no longer in degrees. Degrees went from 0 to 360. Well, on this side, we're going to be talking about in terms of radians. Well, radians is just a whole other unit of measure, and that is, well, pi radians is 180, so the same as 180 degrees. So this is a quarter or half a pi, so this is pi over 2. This is pi radians. This is 3 pi over 2, and this all the way around is 2 pi. So knowing those references that we're going and rotating in terms of pi now, and a radian is a unit of measure that's the length of a radius. But well, you don't need to know that just to know that how the measurements are. We go pi over 1 pi over 2, 2 pi over 2 is pi, 3 pi over 2, and 4 pi over 2 is 2 pi. So that's all the way around the circle is 2 pi radians. So let me clear those off there. And now look at number 3a. If we go pi radians, well, pi we said was, and going, it's still rotating counterclockwise is positive. So we are on the negative x-axis. We're not in a quadrant. And the reference angle is 0 degrees radian, not degrees, 0 radians. We are in radians, not in degrees now. On the next one, it says we're going to go negative 2 pi. Well, that's on B. So negative angles go clockwise. So there's pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2. 2 pi is right here. So we are on the positive x-axis this time. The x-axis, if you want to put positive in front of it, that's a positive sign. Positive x-axis. And our reference angle is still 0 radians because we didn't go up or down any. We are on the axis. Well, negative 3 pi over 2, if we go negative, this is negative 1 pi over 2. This is negative 2 pi over 2, which is negative pi. Negative 3 pi over 2 is straight up and down, and that is on the positive y-axis. And our reference angle is 90 degrees, but in radians, that is pi over 2. Pi over 2 radians, which is the same. Pi over 2 radians is 90 degrees, but we're doing it in terms of radians now. If we move on to 3D, 7 pi over 6. Well, what my reference to give you a hint on this is if you go pi is 6 pi over 6 because that reduces to just pi. So that's 7 pi over 6. So we're going to go one more pi over 6. Pi over 6 is a sixth of 90, which is 30 degrees. So pi over, it's actually the equivalent, 1 pi over 6 is equivalent to 30 degrees. So the reference angle is 30 degrees, but in radians, that is a pi over 6. Because we went one more than 6 pi over 6 to get to 7 pi over 6. And we are in the third quadrant. For 3e, we're going to go negative 2/3 of pi. Well, negative 3/3 of pi would be all the way around. I mean, halfway around. But we want to go one less than that. So we are pi over 3 in the third quadrant. So we didn't go all the way to 3 pi over 3. We went 2 pi over 3, and that was a negative. So our reference angle is pi over 3, which is actually 60 degrees. And we are in quadrant 3 as well. And the last one in this group is, where would 7 pi over 4 be? Well, let's split pi into quarters. So here's 1 pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, 6 pi over 4. 7 pi over 4 is all the way around to the fourth quadrant. And 2 pi is equivalent to 8 pi over 4. So our reference angle, that is 1 pi less than that. So our reference angle is pi over 4. And pi over 4 is equivalent to 45 degrees. So that's a 45 degrees less than 360 for that angle. So our reference angle was 45 degrees, but in radians, that'd be pi over 4 radians. Now let's move on to number 4. So we're going to do the same thing we did in the front. We want an angle that's between negative 2 pi and positive 2 pi that is in the fourth quadrant with a pi over 8 reference angle. So fourth quadrant, here's our reference angle, pi over 8, and we want to get all the way to here. Well, it looks like, that's pi over 8 if you can't read my handwriting. So if you remember, all the way around was 2 pi. So this is pi over 8 less than 2 pi. So we want to take 2 pi, subtract pi over 8. So go for a common denominator. That would be 2 pi over 1, which is multiplied by 8, 16 pi over 8. Minus 1 pi over 8 would be 15 pi over 8 is the reference angle. Not the reference angle, is the angle, is the angle we want, the positive angle. To go on to 4b, we want a negative angle in quadrant 2. So we had a quadrant 2. Pi over 5 is our reference angle, and I want to get this much. So we have to remember that halfway around the circle is pi. So I want to take pi and go pi over 5 more. So it is pi plus pi over 5. So this is 5 pi over 5 plus another pi over 5 is 6 pi over 5. On 4c, we want a negative angle in quadrant 1. So with a pi over 6 reference angle, so here's pi over 6, that's a reference angle, but I need a negative angle, so I want to take that. Well, that's almost all the way around the circle. All the way around the circle is 2 pi, so it's 2 pi, and we need to back up pi over 6, so we're taking off pi over 6. Well, to get a common denominator, you multiply by 6 over 6. This is 12 pi over 6. And 12 pi over 6 minus 1 pi over 6 is 11 pi over 6. So that is the angle we're looking for. I just realized on number 4b, it said a negative angle. I found the angle, but I forgot to put my negative sign with it. And that is a mistake that people like to do on the Canvas assignments too. If you forget your negative sign, it's going to count it wrong, even though it was the right value. Just watch out for your signs. Make sure I didn't miss any other signs. Oh, we had numbers 4c was the same way. We did negative, it's a negative 11 pi over 6. Okay, last one, 4d, a positive angle that's in quadrant 3. So quadrant 3 with a pi over 3 reference angle. So here's pi over 3, and we want this angle right here. Well, that's pi, and then pi over 3 more. So it is pi plus pi over 3. Well, pi is 3 pi over 3 plus 1 pi over 3 would be 4 pi over 3. And that gets us through number 4. So let's move on to number 5. Number 5 says identify all coterminal angles. So all angles that are the same as negative 30 degrees. Well, basically to find coterminal angles, you add and subtract. If we're in degrees, you add and subtract 360. If you're in radians, you add and subtract 2 pi. Well, if I subtract, that's going to be smaller than negative 360. So I don't need to subtract on this one. So I'm just going to take negative 30 plus 360, which gives me 330 degrees. If I added 360 again, that's too far forward because we only want to go up to 360. So 330 is the only angle we have for this question. Let's see. Negative 30 was the given one also. So all coterminal with negative 30 would be negative 30 and 330. Those two are the same. Let's move on to number 6. Identify all coterminal angles between negative 2 pi and positive 2 pi that are the same as 13 pi over 6. Well, 13 pi over 6, well, 2 times around the circle is, or one time around the circle is 2 pi, and 2 pi, if you want to get a denominator of 6, is 12 pi over 6. So we need to subtract. We don't want to go forward because we're already past that. So we're going to subtract 2 pi. So if I take 13 pi over 6 minus 2 pi, that's 2 pi over 1, which would be minus 12 pi over 6, which would be 1 pi over 6, or just pi over 6. Then if we subtract again, if I take 1 pi over 6 minus 2 pi, which is another 12 pi over 6, you get negative 11 pi over 6. So we have pi over 6 and negative 11 pi over 6 are the two angles that are the same when we're talking in terms of radians. If I go any farther, it'd be smaller than negative 2 pi, so we don't want to do that. Number 7 says find the smallest possible angle that's the same, that's coterminal with negative 120 degrees, which means all you have to do is add or subtract 360 till you get the one that we want to. Since we're in negative 120 and we want a positive angle, add 360 to that. Negative 120 plus 360 is 240. That is the smallest possible angle, positive angle that's the same as negative 120. And now the last one, find one positive angle and one negative angle that are the same as negative 5 pi over 3. So we want to go around the circle forward and backwards, so that means we're going to add or subtract 2 pi. If we add 2 pi, negative 5 pi over 3 plus 2 pi, which is over 1, so we multiply by 3, that is 6 pi over 3. You get negative 5 plus 6 is 1 pi over 3, or just pi over 3. That is a positive angle, so now we need a negative one. So we want to take negative 5 pi over 3 and subtract 2 pi, which is 6 pi over 3. So negative 5 pi over 3 minus 6 pi over 3 is negative 11 pi over 3. And now we have one positive angle and one negative angle that are the same as negative 5 pi over 3. And that is everything you need to be able to do this first assignment. Good luck to you.